Sometimes people ask me why I do what I do. They'll say, why are you so much against chemicals? Why are you so much against preservatives and all whatnot? And I don't really have the time to tell them why. I think that today I have little time to explain the reason why I'm against most of these things. It was in 2013 in University College of Hospital Ibadan, where I was carrying out research on cancer cases in southwest Nigeria, that I received one call from my brother that will forever change my life. And the call was like this. Hello? Yes, brother. Your father has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. And I'm like, what? I thought you told me before now that he was diagnosed with diabetes. He said yes, but it seems that that was a misdiagnosis. And immediately when I received that call, after the call, I froze. And some of my partners, my research partners that we were together, asked me what happened. I cannot really explain to them because of the way I felt at that moment. So I managed to comport myself, and after went home. All through that time, I've always been thinking, why is it that so many people are now having cancer in Nigeria? There were a lot of work, researches that were carried out by many scientists in Nigeria and even those abroad that implicated diet and exposure to many people worked on exposure to heavy metals and other chemicals. But my interest was not really there. So my father now started receiving treatment for cancer. So after many years, it wasn't really much because the cancer was advanced prostate cancer. So it was not really much. It just spent some years after the diagnosis. So his condition became worse. And if you've ever had anybody that had cancer in your family, or close friends or relative, you realize that advanced cancer most times metastasize or spread to other organs and tissues of the body. So in my own father's case, it spread to the bones, to his bones. It made his bones so brittle and fragile that little things, his bones will break. So whenever he goes to the hospital, what the doctors will normally tell him is he should take more dairy milk. That is the dairy milk, like cow milk, the normal milk that we have here. I can remember that time how my elder brother bought a carton of milk for him, and he will always be taking it almost every day. And over some time, even with the medication, his condition was getting worse. Eventually, he died. So we were so close, and because of the knowledge that I have about cancer, I realized that cancers are heritable, which means the fact that my father had it, there is some chances that I, his child too, will likely have it in future. So that was when I started digging deep into that particular type of cancer. In my research, I was not really specializing in any of the cancers because I did so many work on breast cancer, so many different cervical cancer, all sort of cancer. So I wasn't that really specific, but just generally, just general knowledge of cancer like that. So because of this thing that happened to my father, and I said, let me like pay more attention to this specific type of cancer because of the likelihood that in future I might have this. That is when I stumbled on some studies, and this was a very large study, like meta-analysis. So it wasn't as if it's just single research that one person carried out. It was a large study that were carried out by many scientists. And what I uncovered in the study was that dairy milk, or what many people consider as cow milk, is not really good for patients with prostate cancer. And immediately when I read the papers, the thing that came to my mind was, did we ignorantly contribute to the worsening in the condition of my father? Did we, in an attempt to help him, contributed to his death? So over the years, I thought about this deeply. So I now started having interest, deep interest on the role that diet, food plays in our health. You know, food is one thing that is often overlooked by people, healthy people. Especially if you are young, you are healthy, nothing's wrong with you. You can eat anything and nothing will happen to you. Because the consequence is not always immediate. And according to studies, anytime consequences are not that immediate, you just overlook it. So, but we tend to forget that most of the things that we eat accumulate in our body, and over the years, the effect of it can be felt either in one way or the other. So, that was what triggered my interest that I should really look at food, and more specifically, how food are being grown, because it's not only about food, it's not only about any type of food. There are some food that are not good for humans. So I now started devoting my interest to how food are being grown and how food can be grown the right way so that suffering can be reduced, so that people can eat food, be healthy, and live long, so that it can be useful to their families, and even to the society in general. So that has been the driving force behind this movement. So if you think that I'm against chemical, you are right. If you think that I'm against bush burning, you are correct. If you feel that I am against some practices that will not help the environment, help our soil, you are right. And I have no apology for it. All what I want is reducing suffering, because I've been there, I've felt it. It happened to me, and I wouldn't wish it on any other person. I saw how my father suffered, how he was crying because of pains. I wouldn't want anybody to go through that. If I see anything that I know will contribute to that suffering, I'll say it out. If I see anything that will prolong your life, I know that it will be useful to you, of course I'll not keep my mouth shut. I'll still tell you. So just say, let me tell you this.